Today, we're going to discuss the 5 true signs that you met your twin flame. And if you're new here, I think you're going to find this video very different from other signs videos that you've seen before. The internet, it's kind of a nice thing because there's free information, but people kind of say whatever they want, right? People can say what they want to say, and they're usually nice people, nice enough people. You know, I don't think most people want to deceive or anything like that. But there is a lot of confusion. There's a lot of misconceptions about a lot of things. You know, twin flames is one of them. But, you know, how many times have you spent endless amounts of time searching for information about health and finance and politics? And, you know, so that's just the internet for you. Your twin flame is your soul. That is true. We already know about reincarnation. This book's pretty old. It's out of print, actually. So you're not crazy. You might be feeling a little crazy right now with the obsessive thinking and sleepless nights and going crazy and your freaking numbers everywhere, and you can't think, you can't function, you can't do anything but think about this person, right? And that's one of the things that a lot of people aren't going to talk about, which is this like desperate state that you're in after your twin flame, after the initial breakup, right? They make it sound like it's like soulmates or something, like it's really amazing, and you're like, no, it's not. So let's get into that. Here's sign number one. Sign number one, dark night of the soul. We'll just get this out of the way right now. I want to say you're going to have to watch this video all the way to the end, though, okay? Because there's other like paranormal stuff that should be happening to you at some point. It might not be happening yet. So if some of the stuff I talk about later in the video, like the paranormal stuff that's going on, if that stuff isn't happening right now, just it will. If you really met your twin flame, it's going to happen. And if it never ever happens, then it was not your twin flame, right? So the other signs, you got to have all 5 of these signs, guys. You got to have all 5 of these. I met my twin flame. I coach twin flames. I'm the world's #1 twin flame coach. I've coached over 7,000 people. I've helped all these people to be with their twin flame. These are the 5 signs. And the reason that I'm taking the time to explain this right now is because if you only have this dark night of the soul that I'm about to get into, if that's all that ever happens to you, it's not your twin flame. It's probably just a toxic relationship, right? But even still, like when you hear what I say about dark night of the soul, it's pretty intense, you guys. It's pretty bad. I don't ever want to have to go through that shit again. Oh my God. I've never been through anything like that before. But there's a purpose behind it, and we'll talk about that in today's video. So dark night of the soul, you could also call it ego death. That's what they call it in like the Zen traditions, in traditional spiritualism, like genuine spiritualism, right? So not the kind of like hoity-toity, woo-woo, new agey stuff on the internet, but like legit, like real Zen spiritualism, the Zen traditions, right? They call it ego death. And so you could be experiencing like a complete loss of identity, which, I mean, that is kind of what's going on. Well, that'll make sense to you by the time you're done watching this video, but you might feel like this sense of meaninglessness, right? And I mean, you should feel that for sure. This sense of meaninglessness, like a loss of identity, like I don't know who I am. I don't know what's happening to me. You look at yourself every day in the mirror as you're going through this, and you're looking at an empty shell now, you feel like. And then there's this obsessive thinking. All you can think about is your twin flame. And the obsessive thinking is the weirdest. It's kind of a dead giveaway. It's so weird because it's like it's happening to you. You can't make it stop. You couldn't stop if you tried. And there's actually a metaphysical reason for that, which maybe I'll get into in another video. But there's a reason that happens with your twin flame. I call them simultaneous incarnations. SI, right? So again, this is real, guys, twin flames. You're not crazy. Again, you might feel a little crazy right now, but no, this is very real, you guys. It's reincarnation. So it really is another incarnation of your soul. You guys really are the same soul. So there's a reason why that's going on. The obsessive thinking, it's not like a normal breakup. That's why you're watching twin flame videos, because you know this is not normal. So before I ever met my twin flame, I had been through other breakups, and I was even cheated on and everything, right? And when, like, normally when there's a breakup, it hurts, right? And you think about it, you're thinking about the person, you miss them, you're heartbroken, and this type of thing. But it goes away after, you know, I don't know, a couple of weeks or a month. It kind of just slowly dies down. And the amount of thinking is like if this is 0, so we'll pretend that my finger is like a dial, like a tachometer in a car for the engine, right? Ring, ring, right? Like a tachometer. And after a normal breakup, it's like this, ring, right? The engine is running a little hot, just like a normal, not a little hot, but like a normal amount, like you're driving down the road or something, right? And then after a week or two, it kind of tapers off and you start to feel better and you're like, all right, I'm over it, right? You get over it, you know what I mean? No, not this time, dude. No, hell no. No, that motherfucking needle is like this. Right? Like the fucking thing is spinning and there's springs flying out of the engine compartment. The hood blows up on your car. There's smoke everywhere. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. The obsessive thinking, I've never experienced anything like it. The intensity and it's like a disease. Like, you can't fucking stop. It was so bad. I couldn't function at all, you guys, during this period. This went on for 6 months. I get home from work. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't even want to watch TV. I didn't even want to eat. I lost a bunch of weight because I could hardly eat. I would just want to go lay in the bed like a vegetable. That's all I could do. And when the sun would start to come down, I would start bawling and like screaming into my pillow. Over a little, by the way, there's the bubble phase at the beginning, right? And the bubble phase at the very beginning, when you first meet them, for most people, and I mean almost all of you, it should be somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks, right? And then somewhere after that period, that's when they take off running, and that's when all this drama starts. Well, anyway, I never reacted this way before over any kind of a breakup, let alone 4 weeks. Our bubble phase was about 4 weeks with my twin flame. Over a little, I mean, we seriously went on 2 or 3 dates maybe. Like, who does that, right? That's what I was doing. And I knew it wasn't right for me to like freak out like this. Well, anyway, so I would finally get tired from the bawling and screaming into my pillow, and then I would fall asleep. And then I slept for a whole hour. Isn't that nice? That's all I could do. Why? Because the obsessive thinking took over. I would wake up and I would just stare at the fucking ceiling for 5 or 6 hours. I could not go back to sleep. And the thinking was going on obsessively. It was just, and you just feel like shit. It was the most horrible experience of my life, you guys. It makes no sense at all, right? And then again, the whole fucking internet is busy trying to tell you that, here, look at your screen if you're not looking at your screen right now. The whole fucking internet is busy trying to tell you that it's this kind of shit, right? And you're like, yeah, no, dude, not even. Oh my God. So, Dark Night of the Soul, ego death, kind of whatever you want to call it. It is the first step of your gang initiation. I mean, spiritual awakening. No, that's like a spiritual joke. Really though, like it's a thing. Eckhart Tolle, right? He had an ego death, right? Dark Night of the Soul. I have all my twin flame students start by reading this book. By the way, hint, hint, hint. You want your twin flame back, right? Read this book. But he did not meet his twin flame. And no, his wife they're not twin flames. Him and his wife, they are not twin flames, guys. They are soulmates. And good for him, because meeting your twin flame is a bitch at the beginning. Well, anyway, the name of the first chapter of his book is You Are Not Your Mind. You are not your mind. That's like the basic tenet of traditional Zen spiritualism. Real spiritualism, right? This camera is not cooperating. The lighting isn't very good. Come on. Okay. But yeah, so your body, mind, soul, right? So the mind is thinking and emotion. The soul is consciousness, and you don't think your way into consciousness. Consciousness is not thought or emotion. It's just the awareness of thinking. Like, have you ever asked yourself, why am I thinking about this right now, right? You ever say that to yourself? Well, who's asking? Think about it. No pun intended. No, but really though, like, what is awareness? Like, how can there be awareness and thinking? What is the awareness? It's the soul. It's your soul, guys. And you and your twin flame are that. That's how I've been able to help so many twin flames. 7,000, guys. 7,000 twin flames. You could go check out my Twin Flame Success Stories playlist if you want. I got a bunch of people I've helped to get married to their twin flame, my twin flame. We're good. And so again, this is just your spiritual awakening. It does start out very painfully. This kind of like spontaneous spiritual awakening, right? Forced spiritual awakening. And Eckhart Tolle went through that too. But it was life life circumstances, and he had like anxiety and stuff like that triggered it. I have a friend that went through all that. And his Dark Night of the Soul was really bad. It went on for like 4 months too. And it was like he like got into trouble with the law, and then he out of nowhere he got like a blood clot, and they put him on all these weird psychotropic drugs, and like all this fucking weird shit happened all at once, and it drove him nuts. And when he came out of it, he had this powerful spiritual awakening, and I've never seen anybody as telepathic as him either, by the way. I've never seen anything like it. He's extremely psychic now after his awakening. He didn't meet his twin flame. So meeting your twin flame is just one way that your awakening can be triggered, okay? But we got to tear down that fake sense of identity first. That's why in the Zen traditions, they call it ego death. But again, you could be calling it Dark Night of the Soul, but it's the same thing. And it's very painful, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. The only problem that people make when they meet their twin flame is they make the goal the person. And if you make your twin flame the goal, that's why they run. And you don't derive the full benefit of the awakening. And so, ironically, paradoxically, it turns out if you let the person go and you go within and align with your soul instead of the external world and getting your twin flame to be with you, right? You're going in here instead. And I don't mean focusing on yourself. I'll explain that in a second. But if you do that, not only does your twin flame come back, but you have this amazing spiritual awakening. That's why I'm saying, read this book right here, The Power of Now. There's also, if you're new here, again, there's I got all kinds of playlists. There's my Success Stories playlist. There's also the True Twin Flame Teachings playlist on this YouTube channel. You can go check that out. I don't want to forget to mention the master class. We got 4 more signs, guys, to get through, so stick around. Ego death, this one always takes the longest, and it's the one that everybody wants to hear about the most, right? But I've got a free master class you can go check out. Down below, there's a link in the description. It's absolutely free, guys. All you got to do is put your email address, and it's the #1 mistake everybody makes about twin flames. It's about 40 minutes long. It's totally free. You're going to have so much clarity, you guys, after you watch that masterclass. Because, again, like I said earlier, everybody on the internet is playing this game of telephone, and they treat twin flames like it's like Uber soulmates or something, right? Again, like this picture of these 2 people, right? That's not twin flames, dude. This is soulmates, man. And yeah, you could get your twin flame to come back, but even when they do, it's not what people think it is. Okay, because it's just inner peace. It's not like intense romance like Jack and Rose from the Titanic. It's not painful. It's not painful. But it's not like super butterflies and like uber, like yummy soulmate type stuff. It's just peace. Okay? And again, you don't think your way there. It's not focusing on myself. I mean, as a general like figure of speech, that's fine. I mean, you could say, yeah, you just got to focus on yourself. Sure. But spiritually speaking, what that really is, you guys. So what Eckhart's going to talk about, Buddha, Alan Watts, Ram Dass, Paramahansa Yogananda, any of the big names in spiritualism, they're going to say, well, what's really going on is you're experiencing yourself as focus. It's not I focus on myself, because that's a subject-object relationship. It's just I am. There's no subject-object relationship. You just experience consciousness, and that's it. And that's very deep. Some people struggle with that when I try to explain that to them. But the thing is you don't understand it. You can't. Consciousness is not thought. It's not mental. It's not concept. That's the soul. And again, that's what's happening to you. You're experiencing this explosion of consciousness, okay? And that's why your mind is going so fucking crazy, because think of it like construction workers coming in with jackhammers to break up all the concrete, right? So you've got all this caked on like memory and emotional retention that you're carrying around with you, right? They call it the ego, the mind. And it's a collection of, it's your personality, right? The ego, the mind. It's a collection of retained thought and emotional patterns that you've been accumulating since you were a child, right? And in this picture, I kind of represent it by this rainbow colored, these lines around you kind of thing, right? But that's a real thing. Like the ego mind, you could think of it like cloud storage, basically, and that's being broken down. And it's not even really that's being broken down quite so much as it is your belief that you are that, your belief that you are this persona, this mind. That's what's changing. That's why, again, Eckhart Tolle's book, the first chapter is called You Are Not Your Mind. You are consciousness. People believe themselves to be the mind, the personality, right? The ego mind, the personality. Like, if I walked up to you on the street and I said, hi, nice to meet you. Who are you? You're going to tell me kind of a story, and it's going to take a minute, right? You're going to tell me about your career and your family and your hobbies and maybe your political beliefs and maybe if you ever have traveled anywhere or, whatever, right? And these are all concepts. That's all thought. That's all mind. And I'm not saying that's bad. That's just what that is, right? That's the mask that we wear when we come down here into density. So where you come from is this higher plane. People have called it heaven. right? You could call it the energy part of the universe. That's what I like to call it. But it is this higher plane, and in physics, again, they've demonstrated that higher planes do exist, and presumably if you go high enough, that's where you go when you die, right? Well, it's also where you came from. So what are you? Beyond the mind, consciousness. That's basically what the soul is. I mean, there's a little bit more to it, but let's just say 99.9% of the soul is just consciousness. It's just almost pure consciousness, right? In consciousness, you don't think your way there. And you don't need to. You experience it. Focus on myself is like psychological, and that's cool. Psychology, I'm all for it. But it doesn't really help you here. I've talked about that before. You can go to my True Twin Flame Teachings playlist. Actually, just go watch the masterclass. Again, go watch the masterclass. That's the best thing you can do. Because I address the healing myth in there. Healing is totally great. It's totally fine to do that if you know what you're doing. But it doesn't help with your twin because people do that. The reason people do that is to get their twin flame back, which only makes sense. Like if I heal my wounds, then my twin's going to come back. And that's what makes them run harder because of the push-pull. You've heard of the twin flame push-pull? That's what this is talking about. And this is how I was able to figure out, by the way, what twin flames really are. I've got a video on my True Twin Flame Teachings playlist where I explain that the best explanation for twin flames is that they're one of your past lives that you lived. Like when they die, you go back up to heaven, and then when they reincarnate, they're going to be you. I'm serious. And it explains everything, actually. It explains how twin flames can be the same soul. It explains the twin flame push-pull. And it follows the laws of physics, too, by the way. That's what's so cool about that theory. And again, the push-pull, like why your twin flame runs, it's mechanics. It's mechanics. It's not any kind of like psychological explanation. It's energy, guys. It's called the second law. Where is it? It's the second law of thermodynamics is what explains that. Here it is. It's the second law of thermodynamics having to do with entropy and the displacement in energy systems, right? So that's why your twin flame is running from you. It's nothing that you need to like fix from your past. I mean, you can do that too, that's fine, but don't do it to get your twin flame back. You just need to remember who you are as a conscious being. Okay, so enough of that. I've spent way too much time on the first point. You might, I hope, have found the rest of this information helpful though. I certainly have a lot of resources too that I can offer you. But that's the ego death. That's why that's happening. All right, let's get to the second one, doubt. Now, doubt, this is an interesting talking point. Here's the thing, guys. All of you, I'm sure all of you, if not almost all of you, maybe some of you have not, and if you have not, that's fine. But at some point, you had this like weird knowing. 100% of you should have experienced doubt at some point. All of you, right? But most of you, on top of that, have also experienced this knowing. And it's this weird, eerie knowing. It's like deja vu or something. And it's actually, I've made videos about this, like explaining intuition. Like, how would I know I was experiencing intuition if I was? Well, it has the same like character of feel to it that deja vu does. There's just different information. Because with deja vu, the information is you've been here before, right? With intuition, the information is something about the future or something that's true or something about another person or something like that, right? But it's this weird, eerie knowing. And the mind at the same time starts to go, how do I know that? So there's knowing and thinking going on, right? Those are two things, guys. Why? Because they're coming from two places. Knowing, intuition, it comes from the soul, okay? So you've experienced the knowing. So a lot of you, probably almost all of you, and you've experienced doubt. Okay? All of you should have experienced doubt, and doubt is mental. Doubt is coming from the mind. It is thinking, right? Now, here's the main reason why this is significant. Again, you look on the internet, everybody's going to tell you that twin flames looks like this, okay? And usually the people that are doing this, they're just trying to, I'm just going to say it. Don't get mad. Promise you won't get mad. Okay. They're just trying to be one of the cool kids, which is kind of weird because you're going through the dark night of the soul. It was horrible. And you're like, why would you want that? Although, again, like it turns out if you do this journey right, it's the best thing that's ever happened to you. It is. In your twin flame, you'll hear from them. You will if you're doing this right. So it's people, again, who think it's like this, and they want to be able to go, oh, look at me. I met my twin flame. I'm cool now. I'm one of the twin flame people. It's like there's this whole community online that thinks twin flames is this big, like, I don't know, movement or something like that. And I just can't get behind that kind of stuff. Whenever I see stuff like that, it's just kind of cringe and like culty. And I've made videos about that. Again, go check out my True Twin Flame Teachings playlist. They make it into this weird like ideology, and that's a pretty bad idea. Eckhart Tolle has actually talked about that a lot. He calls it the spiritual ego, like people who think spiritualism is another belief system. Like it's just another word for religion, right? But it's got nothing to do with actual spiritualism. Look at your screen if you're not. This is a new picture I'm holding up. But this is, people do, they do this. Like this is the real reality that a genuine spiritual teacher like Buddha or Eckhart would explain to you. Consciousness, right? But spirituality it's kind of become this pop culture thing on the internet. And it's not really any different than any other religion. And so that's why the doubt is important, okay? Because those people never doubt it, and you can't talk them out of it. They know they met their fucking twin flame. And you'll see this all the time, like two people that are happy together and they're very much in love, and they go, we're twin flames. Like all the twin flame couples on YouTube that try to coach you on twin flames. And it's a man and a woman, and it's, hi, I'm divine feminine. Hi, I'm divine masculine. We are twin flames, right? No, they're not. They're soulmates, guys. They're just confused. So unfortunately, twin flame has become this fad. It's not a fad, guys. Go watch my twin flame science playlist. This is real, you guys. This is real. But it's fine. It's the internet, guys. But you should have at some point doubted it. For sure. Okay, so that's the second one. All right, number 3. Let's talk about this like kind of paranormal stuff that happens. Pretty straightforward. There should be Kundalini I want to say it's somewhere around 70, 80%. I've actually met with people in person. I've done live events. I've gone to Europe and talked about twin flames and this kind of stuff. I took a poll, and it was about 70% of the room said they experienced Kundalini. And I do a pretty good job at screening people to make sure they really met their twin flame. So not all of you are going to have Kundalini, but there's some other stuff we're going to talk about in a second that 100% of you should have. And we already talked about it a little bit, but I'll come back to that in a second. Let's talk about Kundalini first. So Kundalini is a very well-established phenomenon. And again, the internet, there's pros and cons to the internet because anybody can say anything they want to say on the internet. The long-established definition of Kundalini is the movement of energy up through your body, like through your spine. Okay, and it starts at the base of your spine, at your tailbone, and then comes out your crown. And then again, you go on the internet, and there's people that are going to tell you having an orgasm is Kundalini. There's people that are going to tell you getting a headache is Kundalini. There's people that are going to tell you tingling in your third eye is Kundalini, which that actually could be happening, but that's not Kundalini. Okay, so I mean, it's not like we don't know what Kundalini is. It's been talked about for thousands of years. It is a very well-established phenomenon. We don't need to play around with the definition of Kundalini, but that's what the internet does. So watch out for that. But when it happened to me, it felt like anti-gravity, like I was being pulled up into the sky. And I felt this surge of energy moving through my body. And I would also feel it like pulling me around and like moving me around, jerking me around. During the dark night of the soul, a lot of you should be experiencing like heartache, like pain in your heart. Go see a medical doctor. If you have physical pain in your heart, I have to tell you that. But if the doctor clears you, then it's probably, I've heard some people call that your core wound. But later, when you start to have all this cool metaphysical stuff, and again, like I said, if you haven't experienced this yet, or some of the other paranormal stuff that I'm about to talk about with you, just tuck this video away, because you will. You should experience this stuff. But at some point, you should also experience, about 70-80% of you should experience something called heart chakra opening or heart activation, which is like really damn intense love. It's like it was so much that I really thought that I could have a heart attack or something, like keel over and die, because of the intensity of the love. Like, it was just insane. And of course, I thought it had something to do with her at the time, but it didn't. I found out later what it really was, okay? So this is another one of these kind of paranormal, like, things that could be happening to you. You could be getting tingling in your third eye, yes. And again, Kundalini, like this force that's like pulling at your body and pulling you around. About half the people I asked also, they felt energy traveling from them to their twin flame. From them to their twin flame, right? What's up with that? This on your screen. It's this, guys, okay? And also this. That's why that's happening, okay? Your energy travels to them and pushes them away. That's why they run. So if you're experiencing that with your twin flame, it's going to be a little while until the running and chasing stops. And I'm going to have to explain to you a little bit about how you can get that to stop for the final sign that we're going to talk about, or actually the next sign. But there's all this like strange metaphysical stuff that could be happening. You feel this energy pull towards them, or just up into the sky, or just around. You feel like you're getting pulled around in general. There's the heart opening or heart activation, tingling in your third eye. There's all kinds of strange stuff. If your hand gets numb and tingles, that's not one of the signs. So make sure with this part of the video, I want to be clear about this. Don't add stuff. Don't add, my foot hurt. Or my foot's tingling. Is that Kundalini? Don't add stuff, guys. Go back and watch this part of the video again. If it's not in here, it's not one of the things. Okay? Don't be adding stuff. People like to do that. Okay, also, 100% of you becoming psychic. And I'm not even necessarily talking about telepathy, which is where you can hear and see things in your third eye. You'll probably get a little bit of that, but most of it is intuition, which you feel very strongly in your heart. And again, we already talked about that. Most of you already had some kind of a knowing that they are your twin flame, or that you're going to be together. But at some point, you should also start getting information about your life and about the future and you just know things. It's this weird, eerie knowing. It feels like deja vu, kinda. And there's the knowing, and you're going, how do I know that? Right, well, that's not you. You're not your mind. You're not thinking, actually, technically. The deja vu or intuition is actually you. Like that energy itself is you. That is the soul. That is what that is. And you need to go there, guys. That's what this is all about. You want your twin flame back? You got to stop chasing them. And that brings me to the next sign. They come back at some point, but it happens at a very, like, interesting time. Okay? You get out of bed one day and you have this resolve and you're like, damn it, that's it. I'm done. This is insane. I can't keep chasing them like this. I'm out. I'm letting them go. And you feel this like shift inside your body, and in an emotional shift too, where you mean it. You're like really done. They come right back. Hell, you say? Wait a minute. How could they have known that I had that shift? Right, they don't know that. Why does that happen? Because you undid this. Guys, chasing really is energetic. And don't give me that stuff about, oh, well, I'm the runner now and they're the chaser. That's not it, guys. Because they're not going to be ever looking at twin flame information on the internet trying to get you to be with them. Only you are doing that. So no, the polarities don't switch ever, okay? Even when they come back. When they come back, what really happened is you just eliminated this polarization. You got rid of that. All right? And you're more in alignment with the energy of your soul, which is them. That's why they come back, you guys, when you stop chasing them. So that's what I tell people is, number one, you want to get your twin flame back. Number one, you got to let go of the twin flame myths. I got a nice long video on my True Twin Flame Teachings playlist. Go check it out. Go watch my free masterclass down below again. So let go of the myths. Watch my masterclass. Number two, stop chasing your twin flame. Stop today. And stop with the like pining for them and yearning for them. Okay, that's really why they run. Which brings me to number three. You can replace all of that twin flame activity with like meditation. Read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Watch the Samadhi movie. There's a movie on YouTube called Samadhi. Write that down. Write that down. I'm trying to hook you up. Samadhi, S-A-M-A-D-H-I. Go watch that movie. And if you're doing those things, anytime you feel some kind of a significant like energetic shift or a spiritual shift, and within, say, 1 or 2 days, they come right back, blowing up your phone with selfies. They want to talk to you all of a sudden. That's your twin flame, guys. There's no way they could have known that you had some kind of a shift, right? How did they know that? Well, they didn't. But they sensed it, I guess, energetically, I guess, right? So that's what I would call my twin flame test too, by the way. All right, last sign. You have this general sense that your life is about to change in ways that you can't explain. And you're also seeing all kinds of repeating number signs, 1111, 222, 444, 333, 1111 again, 1111 again, 1111 again, 144, 333 again, 222, 1111, 1111, just on and on. You see their name everywhere. Well, that's not really a sign. I shouldn't say that. The numbers are, though. But the reason you're seeing their name everywhere is because you're thinking about them so much. That's just plain old law of attraction. But the problem with that is thinking about them that much makes them run away. You'll see their name a lot, but you won't see them. Doesn't work. It does not work the same way soulmates does, guys. If you focus on somebody long enough, you'll probably see them, except for your twin flame. Why? Because they're not somebody else. Your twin flame is you, dude. This works different than soulmates. But you'll feel this general sense of a spiritual awakening, like a rise in consciousness, or like there's this ultimate destiny, like my life is about to change. You'll notice actual changes for a lot of you, for most of you in your physical world. You'll start to see like things in your reality breaking down, like physical, like things going wrong, like every country and western song. Your dog dies, you lose your job, you lose all your money, your friends don't want to talk to you anymore, your truck breaks down, you're right? And then at some point, and this could take a year or two. Again, I'm telling you, tuck this video away. Guys, you can't understand twin flames in 5 fucking minutes. And anybody that didn't watch this whole video, that's too bad, man. People, they want to watch like a quick TikTok, and I got my answer, right? It doesn't work that way, guys. If you really want to know, think about this. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened to you in your whole freaking life. You literally met your soul in another fucking body, and you're like, Kurt, you're not doing this, but some people do. Kurt, you're taking too long to explain this. Well, then get out of here, man. You're not going to understand this in 5 fucking minutes, dude. This is not a bumper sticker. You know, twin flame, understanding twin flames, it's not an elevator pitch. You're going to have to learn about this stuff. Well, anyway, after a year or two, after all like stuff gets taken away, you lose your job, maybe you get a divorce, I don't know, all kinds of chaos. Like all of the sudden, there's like this new life that comes along. And again, this won't happen if you're busy chasing your fucking twin flame, bro. Sorry. You're going to have to stop chasing them, guys. You're going to have to stop doing that. Because all you're going to do is keep going through the same cycles of suffering over and over and over again. You got to stop doing that. You got to let go of the myths. And again, most of the myths are coming from well-meaning people, but it's all this new age hyperbole about we're going to save the world and I don't know. Go watch my myths video. There's so many of them. The second thing, let go of your twin flame. And then number 3, a lifestyle of Zen. You can sign up for my paid coaching. It's not expensive, guys. And it's actually twin flame coaching. It's not coming from somebody who says, here's twin flame coaching. And then they are giving you like advice that works for soulmates. Fuck all that. Go watch my masterclass. I explain that really well in that video. Like, this is the biggest mistake everybody makes. Treating this like soulmates, you guys. This works way different than what most people think it does. And again, I've coached over 7,000 people. I've got a bunch of people that are married to their twin flame all over my YouTube channel, my Twin Flame Success Stories playlist. This does work if you know what you're doing, right? So you should experience some significant shifts in your reality and also like your state of consciousness. Like you feel like things are going to change in big ways, and then they do. And it could take a couple of years. Get started. And by the way, if you're doing all that, if you're doing things right, your twin flame's going to come back, guys. And I'm not saying that you're going to be together. You got to let that go. You can't hold on to the outcome. That's like one of the first things that I tell my paid students is you got to let that go. But that's the funny thing is you can't be focused on an outcome, because if you are, you get this, right? You got to be doing for you. And I'm not even necessarily talking about living my best life. What I'm talking about is what comes before living your best life, which is soul alignment. Experiencing yourself as consciousness and allowing things to unfold organically. At the very minimum, your twin flame should contact you and want to see you pretty bad. Who doesn't want that problem? So, and again, that was one of the signs. That was sign number 4, right? Like if you're doing things right, they're gonna hit you up, guys. They're gonna come back. They're gonna contact you right as you're experiencing these type of shifts. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.